Okay, so this is going to be fight 268. This was up in Chayapum, which is up in Assam, and I was booked through Chicken Man or Crew Guy. You can see him in the Muay Thai Library. He's absolutely amazing. He was a trainer at Phettae who left when COVID hit, and now he takes care of goats. So he booked me for the fight, and we went up there, and he was in my corner. I haven't fought since December. And now it's March, so there's like 3 months between my last fight and this one. And almost all my opponents are much bigger than me by like 6, 8, 10 kilos. And this fight had no weigh-in. They said it was at about 49 kilos. And then a couple of days before it was time to go, Chicken Man was like, oh, there's going to be a weigh-in at 46. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, there's no dermpan, there's no side bet. I don't know why we're weighing in, but that's fine. That's pretty much what I walk around at, so there's not really a weight cut for me anyway. It's very easy. So we went up, and there's a weigh-in in the morning, fighting at night, so it's the same day. And I knew my opponent, Phettae. I'd actually seen her fight Phettae about 6 years ago when Phettae was like 13. Phettae was like 19 at the time. She's like 25 now. And she's small, like she's a small fighter. So I was very surprised when they said it was going to be at 49 kilos. So we're weighing in, and I'm like 45.7 or something for a 46 kilo fight. She steps on the scale and is 41.9. She did not cut weight to be that. That's what she is. Like, she's very small. I have not fought someone smaller than me like that ever. So it was kind of incredible for me. And in the past 6 fights or so, I've had more opponents closer to my size than I ever have in my career leading up to this. And I think that's partially that I'm working with different promoters because a lot of places have closed and reshuffled due to COVID, which we're in the second year of now. So it was a trip fighting someone smaller than me. And I have a lot of respect for Phettae. I've seen her fight before. She's really good. And I was excited to fight her, although I was completely freaked out by fighting someone so much smaller than me. So I was kind of like thinking about all the things that I can work on in this fight because I'm not going to be working against her size, which is often what I'm working against in fights when people outweigh me by like 15, 20 pounds, is you can just do different things against someone who's your size or even smaller. It's just incredible. I don't have that opportunity. Even in training, I don't have that opportunity. So it's really interesting. But then right before the fight, like when Chicken Man came over to start giving me my massage, he was like, oh, she said that it was okay that she was smaller than you because she saw you fight. You were on the same card like 6 years ago. And she's like, oh, Sylvie's my gang. Like, Sylvie's not good. I can totally fight her. And I was like, she said what? Like, I got kind of mad. And then she said if she makes it 5 rounds, like if she doesn't get knocked out, she'll consider that a win. So even if she loses on points, if she doesn't get knocked out, she considers it that she won. And I was like not really sure how to digest this information. I don't know whether he was telling me to rile me up, like he was betting on a knockout or something like this, or whether that's just how I responded to it anyway, and he was just relaying information to me. But it was pretty incredible going into a fight against someone significantly smaller than me, and it really, really wakes me up to frustrations that I have going against bigger opponents, just things that I'm not able to do because of my size. Going against someone smaller, I'm like, oh, this is different, where you like just don't have to worry about going against someone's imposing frame, rather you're the imposing frame. So that was interesting for me. So I'm going to start playing the fight here. There's a little bit on the stage before the fight, and then it jumps right into our Ram Muay. So that's why I did like a pre-video introduction to this, is because there just wasn't enough time prior to the fight to get that information in, and I didn't want to be talking over the fight, giving stuff like this, because things are happening in the fight. So this is me up on the stage. The fight prior to mine was between 2 young women, and they were fighting for a belt. So you basically like get your gloves on and you just go stay on the VIP stage and watch the fight in front of you and wait to be called in. You need to be ready in case there's like a knockout or something like that. These young women were fighting really hard. And this is only the first round, but it was exciting to watch. Sometimes it's very boring to watch the fight in front of you and you just want to get in, but this one was really fun to watch. The man who was doing the announcement was saying something in Thai that he then was trying to say in English. And he's like, Sylvie's American, so I'm going to speak English. And he was like, Sylvie has to wear a condom. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And it finally dawned on me that he's talking about a face mask in Thai, anamai, like nagak anamai. It's the same as how in English we say like prophylactic. So it would be like a protective mask, prophylactic mask, and prophylactic for a condom is the same word. So he had mistranslated into English that I had to wear a condom, but what he was talking about is I needed to put a face mask on. That tripped me out when he was saying that while I was sitting on the stage. I'm like, what is he saying? All right, so here I am. This is Phettae. She goes the opposite direction, starting the Ram Muay, which some people do. It's a little bit annoying because you like run into each other, but then it becomes this immediate pissing contest of like who's gonna move out of the way of the other person as you're doing this. So you can, when you face someone like this who goes the opposite way during the Ram Muay, you have immediate competitiveness that you don't necessarily have when getting into the ring with everyone if you go the same direction when you're doing your Ram Muay. Phettae's been fighting for a long time. This is her sister in the pink. They have the same face. Her sister's bigger. But Phettae has a very nice femur style. She's very experienced. The announcer was talking about how experienced I am, that I'm, in Thai they say mai thamada, means like unusual or extraordinary. He's like, Sylvie has so much fight experience, more than 100 fights. I have more than 200 fights. But he was saying that Phettae also has more than 100 fights. So she's been around a long time. She's been fighting for a long time. And she is actually from Chayapum, even though where I've seen her fight before was in Bangkok. Probably on one of these all-female shows that they used to have, Phettae. If you go back and watch my fights, you'll see me on these all-female fight cards. With Phettae as the promoter. Usually they're on like Mother's Day or Songkran or Father's Day. I haven't done my Ram Muay in a while. Again, I haven't fought since December. This is now March. I've done it more than 200 times, so I definitely am not like rusty doing my Ram Muay, but it's one of those things where you're like, God, I haven't done this in a while. I like my Ram Muay. I got it from Master K. I feel really good doing it, but it is one of these things where I'm incredibly shy, and when you're on the stage, people are looking at you. That's the whole point, and I feel very, very looked at during this part, getting ready to fight. You can see our size difference there. I'm almost never taller than anyone, like ever. So it was crazy being like physically bigger than her and heavier than her. Mai Thamada is what the announcer's saying. This is Emma Thomas of Under the Ropes. She and I used to laugh all the time because announcers love to say Mai Thamada. And so I was like, well, what is normal if everything's unusual? This is a crew guy working in my corner for me. He worked alone, which was really cool. His son, Poot, who was at my gym for 7 years that I've been there, and then they moved when COVID hit, had his first fight as the first bout on this card. It was really awesome to see Poot get in the ring. I'm pretty calm. I've been sparring with Yod Kunpan for a little bit less than a year now, but it's like every day, about an hour every day. So I've just been working on my movement and kind of like having more range in terms of the space that I can fight in rather than always charging in and clinching. Against someone smaller like Phettae, I did not feel the need to like cover that space really quickly. You can see how comfortable she is like being caught and attacking back. It's just round one, but she's just trying to feel me out. It's got a nice little combination there. She's feisty. She's totally like coming at me with a lot of her power, but because she's small and I'm used to fighting bigger people and training with bigger people, even her full power is just not. She hit me in the body there and I'm like, that's okay. Do another one, that's fine. I'm used to much, much bigger people in training and in fighting. But I'm staying at this range, which often I'm like on the porch, which is like at someone's striking range, but I'm not doing anything. This is actually now a range that I'm more comfortable in to actually strike in myself. She's doing this kind of like right hand, left kick to the open side. This is our first clinch up. Because she's smaller than me and I'm used to working with people bigger than me, when I moved her, I just meant to turn her and she like went flying. This guy in the right side of the screen like turned and looked and I was like, oh my God, what is gonna happen here? One of the things I really respect about Phettae is that she accepted this fight with the weight disadvantage because she knows that fighting is about heart. It's not about having advantages all the time. So I like her. She's in Thai they call it nak rop. Nak rop is like a warrior. She's got that. But here I'm doing body punches. I'm doing teeps. I actually hurt her with that teep. I saw her body slump the way I see when I knee people. So I knew that I was hurting her. That was a nice little duck. And then right hook from her. Oh, that's the jab Kevin was talking about. He said that she had landed a jab on me that I didn't remember. But my hands are kind of coming together a little bit more. I've been working on just boxing with Andre. Kevin and I refer to it as the Russian hooks. He has this incredible lead hook, but I've been working with Andre for a couple of months now, and it's all pad work. It's like an hour of pad work. And I've started sparring with his guys a little bit. They're all huge. And I can feel my hands kind of coming together with Yodkun Pan in our sparring, and I could definitely feel them in this fight. It was weird for me, like the entire body mapping was completely different because normally when I have an opponent who's so much bigger, they're imposing because of their size, and then I have to stand up to their imposition. Like I have to defy their imposition. Whereas me being the bigger fighter in this situation, and not only the bigger one, but I'm very strong as a small person. So being big and stronger, I was like, I'm imposing, and the onus is on you to like refuse my space. I don't have that experience. Like this was like you're watching real time Sylvie experiencing having a smaller person in front of her. I have no experience with this. It's very weird. But it allows me to stay at a distance that's really nice for me rather than having to like bite down and jump through. She tried to do like a flying elbow on me there. I got this weird position. I have like a double plum and I'm landing some knees. She got out and landed a kick as she's getting out, which I like. She's trying to grab my body, which is a terrible idea. I have very good defense of waist grabs. But so she's in a little bit of trouble here. She's fighting hard. She's trying to like lock me down, and she actually pulls with all of her weight. She pulls down. I remember Kevin yelling at me that I got in that position instead of pulling her off of the ropes. The fact that she's like 4 kilos smaller than me and able to do things like this is totally a testament to her skill and experience. Size matters in fights. Like turn and throw. But see how I can just walk after her and it's like nothing. I'm strong, I'm tough, I'm brave. I go after people who are bigger than me. But walking after someone smaller than me, it's like there's just nothing she can do. Like I'm in a strange overturn. I have my leg up on her. I almost never do the wall of China, but I'm like snuffing her knees. But then I can drag back and land these knees. The ref tells me no here because I kind of like pushed her as I was trying to stand back up when she had fallen down. I get that from training. I do it as a joke. When someone's trying to get up, I push them back down. So I did it in the fight, which is not, trouble. So this is now snowballing, right? She's getting an 8 count because I put her down, but she's been put down twice in this round. And so this is kind of snowballing. The ref is watching to see whether she can defend herself or not. She's got nice combinations. She just got nailed with a hook right there. I saw her kind of like, again, show the symptoms of it. She's trying to throw with a lot of power. Here, I get her in the face, not hard, but the ref sees this is not going well. Like she can't really defend herself, and he just stops it in round 2. So I had a lot of feelings about this. There's a girl like screaming over on this side. She was definitely in my fan club. And a bunch of girls came up to me after the fight to take photos. Like, I don't know who was screaming for me like this. So it was pretty fast. I was a little bit like internal anger at myself that I didn't take this opportunity to extend the fight because there was no danger for me. I could have used it more as like a experimentation with just teeping for an entire round, or like just trying footwork for a whole round, like basically the things that I do in sparring, bringing them into the pressure of a real fight. But the fact of the matter is, even when you're bigger than someone, even when you have not a lot of danger in the fight, the pressure of fighting itself is real. And so you kind of have to do things under that pressure, even if afterwards you're like, oh, I wasn't really in danger, I should have been able to do all these things. In a fight is a fight. Oh, these are the girls who came to take photos with me. That's Poot bringing me my Mon Con. He just had his first fight. So cute. He's 8. I was trying to like take my gloves off and go return them right away, but I like couldn't get them off of my hands, which is unusual. It means Chicken Man tied them really well. Usually I can just slip gloves right off because I have like deer hoof hands. My hands and wrists are very small. I can usually just pop them off. But this is at a school in Chayapum, out in the out country. Kevin and I actually stayed in Chayapum City, which was a full hour away from where this actually was, because there were no like hotels that we could find near here. But these festival lights are always at fights like this. They're beautiful. When you're driving and it's black everywhere and you don't know where the fight is, you look for these neon lights and you're like, oh, it's here. These kids coming to take photos with me. This is when you get to be a superstar after fights. People come and they want photos, and they took like a group picture, and then they wanted photos one by one. And then they actually came back about 5 minutes later after a group of boys had come up, and they had gone and gotten their friend, who's like 13, 14 years old, but she had a really nice camera that she was taking photos that the camera clearly belonged like to the school. It was like part of a program. And they went and got her, and she came and took like nicer, more professional photos for them. It was very sweet. They always do this little shuffle thing of like, who gets to take the one-on-one photo in which order, but it's all on one phone. It's very sweet. I wanted the little one. I was like, get the little one in here. Chicken Man gave me absolutely no advice in the corner, because between round 1 and 2, there's not much to say. There's no gambling between rounds 1 and 2. This is Chicken Man's friend. So he was my corner man, and he knows me. He knows what I'm capable of doing and things like this. But the fight never got to a point where he would advise me on anything, because it was just too early. If it had gone into rounds 3, 4, 5, he might have, told me to teep more, pivot, or I don't know what he would have said to me. But he knows what kind of fighter I am. But it just didn't get into that part of the fight to have advice like that. It's always nice to have these people come up and want photos, because they're all very excited. And so it feels really good to feel their energy of being excited about what they just saw, what just happened. They probably have not posed with a small farang with tattoos everywhere before at their school. But it is a little bit like being the Easter Bunny or something. Like everyone coming and taking photos is kind of interesting. What was strange is that like this group that just came up, and then there's a group of older boys, like 17, 18, something like this. They all came up and wanted photos as well. Everyone was saying like Max Muay Thai to me, and I'm like, what are they talking? Like, do they think they saw me? I fought on Max, but not on TV, and it was way long ago. They don't let women fight anymore. Or whether they think that Max Muay Thai and like Super Champ and Hardcore are the same, and they want to see me on that. I don't know, but it was like everyone was like saying it over and over, and I was like, okay, like I don't know. This is Kevin having me talk a bit to the live stream. We always stream my fights live. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can always watch my fights live on my Facebook channel before I do the voiceover. So when you watch them live, it's Kevin's voiceover. He kind of gives an idea of what's going on, just enough so that people can follow it or know the circumstances, what's going on, what the weights are, this kind of thing. I'm saying goodbye to everyone. I totally have like lizard brain after fights. Rinsing off my mouthpiece there. I'm in a good mood. That's nice to come out of a fight happy like that. Again, Chicken Man got in my head with that comment about her saying I wasn't good. Fight 268. Hey, I am in Chayapum, and this is fight 268. I won by round 2 knockout. ref stoppage. I was fighting Phettae, who I actually saw fight Phettae like 6 years ago, and I loved her. I thought she was amazing. She's very, very small. This is the first time I fought someone this much smaller than me, like visibly and weight-wise, size, everything this much smaller than me. She's very small. She weighed in at 41.9 this morning. I was 45.7 for a 46 kilo fight.
Where you come from?
America. This is the post-fight at festivals, is that people come up and take photos with you and shake your hand, things like this. Chicken Man, who some of you who are patrons might recognize from the Muay Thai Library, was here as my corner. His son, Poot, who I absolutely love, he grew up at Phettae with me over the past 6-7 years. He had his first fight tonight, and we got to see that. That was a surprise. We didn't know that was going to happen. Fighting someone smaller than me, I was able to kind of do a lot of things that I've been working on in training that I'm never able to do in the ring with people who are so much bigger than me. So that was very cool for me to be able to do some of those things that I've been working on in my sparring and in my training. And hats off to Phettae. I talk a lot about me being smaller than my opponents when I'm smaller because it is significant. She was significantly smaller than me, and her fighting up, taking a fight against me, giving up that much weight. Total respect to Phettae being like, fuck it, I'll fight Sylvie. That's really good. So Phettae, awesome. Fight 268. Thank you guys who watched it live. Thank you to my sponsors. Low Blow, on the back, Onyx MMA. I'll talk to you guys later.
They requested that Sylvie weigh 46, which is pretty much a little bit less than her walk-around weight. And they could have asked for her to come down to 44, but they asked for 46. This was booked through Chicken Man, if you know Crew Guy. He's never booked a fight for us before, so this is kind of cool. We're in Chayapum, which is way up, almost near Khon Kaen, in Isan.
รางวัลพิเศษเนี่ยซินวี่มาวางไว้ 5,000 ครับเพชรแท้2เพชรทองครับแจ้งรางวัลพิเศษเลยครับ
It's great you can hear me.
โอเคครับไม่เป็นไรครับ
Hey Gary. So this is a real challenge for Sylvie. Phettae is used to be with at least at one point was with the Kaewsamrit gym. She's got, we've seen her fight in person and a little bit on video. She's got all weapons and all distances, so she's very accomplished in terms of
เดินทางมาถึงมวยคู่นี้นะครับ
in terms of skill level.
10 นะครับในรายการนี้อยู่ที่คู่13
Also, Sylvie fights way up all the time. She's been fighting for the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years, giving up about 6 or 7 kilos. So it's really different to face a smaller fighter. It should be in your advantage, but not always. You'd anticipate that Sylvie's strength in the clinch should be really massive, but with Muay Thai rules, where retreat and defense and spacing can be rewarded really heavily by the judges, you can lose to smaller fighters.
ชกกัน5 ยกครับคู่นี้ครบ5ไม่ครบไม่ทราบครับตรงนี้เจ้าของรถยนต์ผอพึ่งชอชิง281โคราชครับขยับรถหน่อยครับว่าเป็นผอท่องเที่ยวและไม่ใช่ผอการกีฬาแห่งประเทศไทยครับท่านจะไปราชการต่อ
So this is a really interesting challenge.
มาอยู่ให้ความกรุณากับพวกเราอย่างมากนะครับปกติ
Sylvie's actually been clinching with really big people, like 60 kilo stadium, low level stadium fighters. So her strength is up, but her technique is geared to much stronger, bigger people than her. It'd be very interesting to see what positions she takes in the clinch. If you've been following along also, she's been sparring a ton.
สวมแมตให้เรียบร้อยครับสำหรับคู่
with Yokumpon and others,
สโมสรกีฬาและนันทนาการจังหวัด
trying to
ชัย
get
ภูมิ
her
อีกรุ่นหนึ่งในรุ่น
creativity
32
and
กิโลกรัม
eyes growing.
รุ่นเล็กสุดของวันนี้ครับ
She's been doing that
เป็น
hardcore
รุ่น
for
ที่4ครับ
about
วันนี้
7 months now, maybe 8 months.
3 รุ่นป้องกันแชมป์1 รุ่นครับผ่านไปแล้ว3 คู่อันนี้ยังเหลืออีกคู่หนึ่งครับเรกดีรถโตแล้วก็รางวัลพิเศษมาแจ้งไว้แล้ว
That's Sylvie's executioner
2,000
strike
พอแบกหรือไม่ทีมงานชัดชัยวาวัฒนะครับรวบรวมมาครับผม
ลีลาการไหว้ครูของซิลวี่ไม่ธรรมดาแดงนี่จากนู่นแล้วครับ USA สหรัฐอเมริกาครับแต่ละ
I really don't know what to expect in this fight.
ส่วนน้ำ
We
เงิน
were
มาจาก
told
สิงห์
that
บุรีครับ
Phettae felt confident. She's seen Sylvie fight and felt like she can fight
ป
her.
ริญญาตรีจากมอกีฬาแห่งชาติปีหน้าครับ
Chicken Man, Crew Guy is in
กระดูก
Sylvie's
มวยคู่
corner.
นี้ซิลวี่ไม่ธรรมดานะครับชกมาร่วม100 ครั้งเหมือนกันนะครับเจอเบอร์ใหญ่ๆมาเยอะก็ไม่ว่าจะเป็นลูกทอยหรือผมมันแบบเขาเรียกว่าเจอฟ้างามลูกวังชมพูเจอมาเยอะครับกับแม้กระทั่งครั้งหนึ่งเคยท่าบารมีดังก้องฟ้าส่วนทางด้านเพชรแท้นี่ไม่โต
You
สัก
can
ที
see the height difference. Sylvie has height. She almost never has
เล็ก
height.
กว่าแต่ว่าชกมวยไทยนี่200 กว่าไฟต์นะครับ
Phettae tends to be conservative early
โค
on.
วิดมา
She likes to wait things out,
พูดถึงประสบการณ์ของ
especially the first 2 rounds. Looks like Sylvie landed a hook.
มวยไทย 100% นะครับแล้วก็ดูว่าการผ่านมวยกระดูกความเก๋าของ
Flying with that hook.
จะใช้ได้ไหมในชั่วโมงนี้
Little combination from Phettae. Oh, Sylvie cut off the scoot along the ring with the hook. Low kick finish. Pretty good.
ซิลวี่นี่ต่ออายุให้เพชร
Jab
แท้
to
นะ
the
ครับเพราะว่า
body.
ซิลวี่นี่อายุ
You
40
can
กว่า
see that Sylvie's body hands work is kind of showing itself a little bit. Been working on hands and low kicks.
รอยสักข้างหลังก็รู้ครับว่าถ้าไม่ใช่อายุขนาด
Low kick, little stinking low kick.
เป็นผู้ที่ชอบศิลปะบนเรือนร่างซ้ายหน้า
Going into this fight, Sylvie was like
ดูนะครับว่าความ
she
เป็น
wants
มวย
to
เนี่ย
take
อยู่
the attitude
แน่นอนนะครับ
that
แต่ว่าความ
Phettae can't hurt her just because
ค
of
วาม
the
แรง
size
ซิ
difference.
ลวี่เดินเหมือนมวยชาย
We'll see. Here's the first clinch.
แน่
Oh, you saw that go fast.
มีเหลี่ยมด้วย
ไม่ได้ทำอะไรมากมายครับ
So nice teep against the
มีเหลี่ยม
ropes.
ครับแต่อย่าเล่ห์เหลี่ยมก็พอ
คือจังหวะของ
Trying to,
ชาวต่างชาติเขาก็
Phettae's just waiting this out. Front kick to the open side. Nice check by Sylvie. Body shot by
เป็นสิ่ง
Sylvie.
ที่เขา
Oh, here's the
ต้องการมากเพ
clinch.
ราะว่าศิลปะแม่ไม้มวยไทย
Sylvie's taking her time in it
ที่อันตรายที่สุดในโลกจะดันไปรอบ2ไม่ยอมแล้ว
That's-
ยืนได้รู้แล้ว
Nice change of
แล้ว
kick.
หมัด
Sylvie getting a little teep working. Fake teep to
ลู
the
กอัน
hook.
ตรายของซีวีก็คือหมัด
Nice
ศอก
check by Sylvie. Oh, that was a very nice little slip by Phettae. Phettae touches her with a jab.
แท้ๆนี่จะออกอาวุธเขาคิดก่อนนะครับหมดยกครับหมดยกแรกพักสักแป๊บเดียว
That was a nice round. Sylvie got to show some weapons. She felt the strength. I wanted her to clinch in the first round just so she felt what the strength difference was in the clinch. Looks like she's hunting a little bit with that lead hook.
ดูว่าทางเพชรแท้จะต้านเจ้าซิลวี่อยู่หรือไม่ครับตรงนี้ ถ้าบอกว่าเก๋าเนี่ย
Phettae is really not
เก๋ากว่าอีก
coming on
แต่
strong. She's probably going to take the first 2 rounds off because in Thai
แต่ตรงนี้
scoring,
ก็ต้อง
you
ดูครับ
want
บางครั้ง
to
บางที
build a
เนี่ย
narrative.
มันยังสรุปไม่ได้ครับ
อะไรก็เกิดขึ้นได้เหมือนคู่ที่แล้วไง
ครับไข่เป็ดไข่ไก่ครับ
So
ตรงระบอก
Thai
ไว้ก่อน
scoring, it's good to
คู่ที่แล้ว
basically come
ที่แล้ว
out
นี่นะคุณครูพี่ชัย
light
นะผมว่าวัน
and
นี้นอนห
build
ลับ
and build and build.
เห็นเราดูคู่
So
นี้คู่
Phettae's probably going to fight the same
กระแส
round.
โซเชียลแรงเหลือเกินครับ
Again.
คู่ระหว่างเพชรดารา
Maybe
กับ
she had some success with the open side lead kick, which is high scoring.
ครับชันชัยวาวัฒนะครับรวบรวมรางวัลพิเศษครับเพชรตาคามีอยู่ 23,000 บาท พอแบ่งหรือไม่แจ้งรางวัลพิเศษไว้กันแน่นๆครับคู่ต่อไปครับและส่งนัก
Let's
มวย
see
ไป
if
นั่งรอ
Sylvie steps up a little bit, more pressure.
ที่ผู้สนับสนุน
She's
และก็
walking slowly before the low kick teep.
ครับผม
She's touching her. Here comes another clinch.
แต่ตื้อจริงๆครับ
Double inside.
ลูกทีบ
Oh,
ลูกทีบแล้วแทง
Phettae comes kicking out of the clinch.
ด้วย
Oh, Phettae is a little bit nervous.
ท่อนแขนครับ
Oh, took a knee to the head. I think Phettae's a little bit overwhelmed right now. Let's see what Sylvie does.
ยกไปเรื่อยๆครับ
In the clinch again, low mid clinch from Sylvie.
ไม่ลงล่างนะครับขึ้นบนโหนแล้วครับ
ครับเพชรแท้ต้องอาศัยเหลี่ยมอาศัยIQ มวยมาสู้
คือโหนไม่ให้ตีอ่ะ
อย่าประทะครับไม่จำเป็นไม่
I
ประ
think
ทะ
Sylvie's gotten confident in the clinch.
เอาแล้วนะลูกขวาหน้าดีครับ
Little crossface from Sylvie. Crossface.
ไล่แขนเสียบลูกดัน
Sylvie's feeling confident in the clinch for sure. And Phettae's starting to show some fatigue.
ตีดีมากครับเดินดีครับ
Crossface from Sylvie.
ซ้าย
Nice knee from
ข
Sylvie.
วากับซ้าย
Knee from
ซ้าย
Sylvie.
เสียบคืนเสียบซ้าย
Sylvie got an arm trap. Swimming in. Arm loop.
เสียบซ้ายโอ้โหจังหวะเสียบ
Phettae's in max guard right now.
ยังอยู่ครับยังให้โอกาสอยู่ ไหว
Sylvie
ไม่ไหวครับต้องดู
back into the clinch. Nice knee. Nice knee.
โอ้โหลูกเสียบ
That might be a count.
เอาการเซฟ
That's a
เซฟ
count.
ด้วยการให้พักครับเซฟด้วยการให้พักเพราะว่าโดนเข่าซ้ายเมื่อสักครู่นี้
Sylvie's starting to feel confident in space. Nice lead teep. Phettae's starting to strike. Starting to kick. Yes.
ไม่อยากพลาดยกเพราะว่ามันยกมันจะเหนื่อยครับ
Oh, here it is again. Boy. Ref came in, broke it. Oh, he just called the fight.
มาแล้วครับ
ไม่เป็นไรครับไม่เป็นไรไม่เป็นไรไม่เป็นไร
It wasn't going to go well.
โอ้ขวัญใจ FC กันเยอะครับขวัญใจ
Sylvie was putting her in bad positions, head down, measuring the knee. That was a very good call.
ว่าซิดนีย์
Phettae probably had a lot to go, a lot more to give, but it wasn't going to look good. So
คู่ต่อไปครับ
that weight difference
คู่ชิง
is
แชมป์สโมสรกีฬา
the first time Sylvie's ever had that.
รุ่น 33 กิโลกรัมนักชกทางด้านมุมแดง
That's
ลุกมาเลย
often what Westerners fight with.
ชาญชัย
In over
บ่อวัฒ
260
นะ
fights, it's the first time she's ever had
รางวัลพิเศษ
kilos
ชา
like
ญ
that.
ชัยครับส่งเลยครับนักชกทาง
Thank
ด้าน
you
มุ
to
มแดง
Phettae, though,
เพชรปา
who
กา
wanted the fight.
ศูนย์กี
Apparently.
ฬากุดฉิมครับสู้จะมอบพวงมาลัยครับเชิญเชียงคำเลยครับ
Let's see.
รางวัลพิเศษส่งเลยครับทางด้านชาญชัยครับผม
Cop, thank you.
ขอเชิญคุณขอเชิญ
So
คุณอุ
kid
ดม
gives Sylvie
พั
the
นเพชรนะ
long
ครับ
con.
คุณนราทิพย์บัววิชัยสิงห์
That was food?
champion.
ขึ้นของพวงมาลัยให้กับนักมวยคู่นี้ด้วยนะครับ
Help taking my
ครูอภิชัยครับเข็มขัดอยู่ข้างบนไหมครับ ไม่อยู่น้องดีมครับน้องดีม
So this is a low-key kind of a festival fight
เข็มขัดคืนหน่อย
on a soccer field in a school.
ทีมงานยอดแสงไทยครับเข็มขัดคืนด้วย
You can see the ring was set up.
เส้นที่แล้วไม่ตามได้
These lights over here are ubiquitous. It lets you know there's a festival. Looks like there are a bunch of people coming running around to Sylvie for pictures. It's very nice. Sylvie's just too strong to fight someone that size. But the more experiences you have, the variety of experiences you have, the better fighter you become. Sylvie's been definitely distorted by fighting, giving up 3 weight classes, sometimes 4. Her Muay Thai has been distorted. She's had to go into like very defensive, very clinch heavy fighting. So it was nice for a moment to have the weight advantage.
Matt order.
I love when she takes pictures like this afterwards. It's it's beautiful. Yeah, Ken. Yeah, she was too good, but just too good and big. But even if they were the same size, I don't think Phettae is a strong enough clincher. It was nice to see Sylvie be able to get confident physically in the space for right after the first round. She started to get very confident, like she could stand in and stand where she wanted to be. Here's the little soccer, the goal where we put our mat, sat around for a few hours. This is Chicken Man. Hey, Cop. Oh, is his brother?
No, they stay at the same place here.
Oh, they stay together?
Came down to Phettae and clinched with Angie.
Oh, Sweetie, how was that? We're live.
Huh?
We're live.
It was good to be able to try things that I can't try against bigger opponents. But I still, it's the same things that piss me off when I'm clinching and sparring with Yodkumban. So I guess it's good to have the same things that bother me in training bother me in the fight, because it's the things that I can work on when I go back to training.
Totally.
Yeah.
Nice, baby.
I like fighting Phettae. She's very good. Like, I've known about her for a really long time. So when I get the opportunity to fight someone who I'm like a fan of.
Yeah, we saw Phettae fight Phettae Jaw several years ago in a big fight, big card. Okay, guys, I'm signing off. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, we have a fight coming up in 3 weeks' time. In 3 weeks, I think so, right, baby? Okay. Thank you, everybody.